Man, 2024 has become the year of beef.
Yep.
It is war out here in these musical streets. It's like nobody's safe.
Everybody has a problem.
Everybody got a problem. And, you know, when some of it happened, we didn't even report on it. Like the Chris Brown and Quavo thing, when the first round happened, we didn't even think we needed to talk about it because it was like maybe a shot on Chris Brown's album. And then Quavo put out a diss record, and we were like, I don't think we need to talk about this.
I mean, I feel like it was very clearly a shot. He mentioned the Migos by name.
Yes. Yes. But people were confused, not necessarily me or you, but people were confused. Was it a legit shot? Was it not? But before we could get confirmation, Quavo put out a diss record.
Because
But we
Quavo
didn't
knew
we
it
didn't
was.
discuss it. I'm sorry?
Quavo knew it was. Quavo knew the vibes.
Quavo knew the vibes.
Quavo said, oh,
So
yeah, that's what you're saying about
so he
me.
put out a diss record. Right. He said, you said the Migos, you said my name, let's talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
So Quavo put out a diss record, and we was like, I mean, whatever, man. Too much other stuff going on. We'll just let that one fly by. But now it's getting crazy. Now we got round 2 of the diss records that have happened since we last potted. Chris Brown put out a rap record. Flowing.
You thought so?
He was flowing. I mean, Chris Brown was going in. He had a great flow. He had great delivery. And people said, okay, I see your rap record. And I raise you one.
I mean, Chris Brown been rapping, but
Well, with this beef, I didn't expect Chris Brown to rap because he didn't really need to, in my opinion.
I absolutely expected him to rap.
You did?
Chris Brown likes to rap. That might not be his primary genre, but he likes to rap, and he does. If you listen to Chris Brown albums, Chris Brown always sneaks in a rap somewhere. He's
Gotcha.
very much. I don't think he considers himself a rapper. I think it's something he likes to do, and he's mildly good at.
I
And
mean,
I only say mildly because I feel like times where I've tried to have this conversation with people, they feel like you shouldn't be a part of a rap conversation. And people
I
always say,
understand.
oh, whatever, like he was rapping, oh, please, you know. So that's why I say mildly, because I feel like people don't respect him as someone who raps. I feel like if y'all respect Beyonce for rapping, then y'all gotta respect Chris Brown. I think he's been doing it longer than she has, to be honest.
I would assume so.
And I don't mean that. I'm not trying to like have them compete or anything like that. But I think that is a fact that his albums have seen more raps than hers. I mean, in recent years, of course, like we've seen her do a lot of stuff, and this is not about her, but I'm just saying that because I feel like people love to say, oh, she's like the best rapper around and things like that. And I don't think what she does is that different from what he does.
Got you.
So I think what happens sometimes with talented people is that when they experiment, they do things that we can respect and things that we can get into. So no, I don't think that every single time that one of them puts out a rap, it's like the best thing I've ever heard in rap or hip hop. But I think that they could hold their own, simply meaning if they needed to put a verse on one of their albums, they could, and it could be something that you're like, oh, I like this.
Right.
Your reaction is not, oh my gosh, why did they do that?
Right.
So I think that Chris Brown has been doing that for a long time. So for me, I wasn't surprised that he got on the mic and rapped. I did wonder to myself, who wrote this?
You don't think he wrote it?
I don't know. I'm curious.
Okay.
I think he had a lot of smoke for Quavo when he did the rap. So it
Yep.
just leads me to wonder. I mean, Chris Brown is very well connected in the industry and has a lot of people who he can call on to write a rap for him. I don't know if I'm being honest. I don't know if he writes any of the other raps I've heard him do.
Got it.
So it's a
Well,
honest question when I say that because I don't
okay.
know,
Okay.
you know. But I'm here for
Well,
it.
there have been
If you could
four.
go toe to toe with a rapper, rap.
Yes. And this is why this battle is interesting for me
Hmm.
because the Migos do different raps than some of the people who do rap battles. And
Yeah.
so I have never seen this type of rapper do a rap battle. So this is very interesting for me. I have no dog in this fight. I'm just like, man, okay, what's gonna happen now?
And he maintained his style, which I thought
Quavo or Chris Brown?
Quavo, which
Yeah,
I thought was super cool. I thought it was really cool that, to your point, this may not be the type of thing that he does. This may not be his style of rap. Is not when you're talking about rap battles. That's not really the arena that his style is sitting in. But
right.
he did it. He did what Quavo does. He did what the Migos do,
Yep.
but in a battle.
Yep.
And I
That
thought,
was interesting to me.
me too. I wasn't expecting that. I didn't know what I was expecting, but when I heard it, it stood out to me. And I said, oh, he maintained his typical flow.
Yep.
And how interesting it is to do a diss track from
With
that.
mostly with mostly ad libs.
Well, sure.
That's I mean the first one was. The second okay, I will give credit where credit is due. The second record, the one that dropped, I guess today or yesterday or whatever, uh he did less ad libs on that one. That one he was more in his pocket of rapping and it was more the raps. The first record, and maybe because it was, I know this beef is not over, maybe that's why. But the first record, it was mostly ad libs. So to me, I was like, oh, okay, second record, now you did it. But he also called in some help.
Well, I feel like the first record he was like playing around, right? He was like, "Oh, that nigga said something about me. All right, let me say something back." But it wasn't. I know a lot of these days we hear a lot of that was a warning shot. I don't even know that it was a warning shot. I just feel like he was just like, "Oh, nigga, I have time." And
All right, I'm gonna say something funny.
right, I think the second time he was like,
Right, the
"Oh,
record
we
that just
beefing."
dropped.
Yeah, I feel like at that point he was like, "Oh, we beefing? You rapping? We beefing?
Right,
Oh,
right.
okay.
Oh, okay.
Well,
Let me do what I do now.
let me get on the I rap. No, I rap, nigga.
Right.
You don't rap, singing
So
ass
he rapped
nigga.
against me. He rapped
Right,
against me.
right.
Don't you know my raps? He
You
hits.
with your singing ass.
Right.
I'm a I'm gonna put it down now. So I feel like that's what happened here. It was like it's almost like they stumbled upon this beef. Like if nobody would have made any big thing about it, I feel like, or if he wouldn't have responded to the initial song, we wouldn't be here right now.
Well, as far as records, this is new. But as far as them
Yeah.
beefing, this is not new.
No. As far as records go, I feel like if Chris
Okay.
Brown didn't, say the word, the name Migos in his song, we
But you
probably
said
wouldn't
Quavo.
be yeah, we would probably wouldn't be having this conversation. But again, I feel like Quavo was like, oh, because the internet there was a lot of chatter when the deluxe came out for Chris Brown.
Yep.
That helps. It adds fuel to the fire.
Hey, you know,
But Quavo was like, oh, okay, I'm gonna play with you a little bit.
I got time.
But he didn't know. He didn't know that Breezy was gonna come out
Right.
with a more than a couple bars.
Right.
So
And
you know.
I think this is getting interesting.
Hmm.
As far as the lyrical content, uh this is clearly a personal one.
Oh, absolutely. When most of the words in your song is pussy, it's personal.
Yeah, this one is personal, and I think this one could really lead to physical violence, and I hope it does not.
I can see that.
But I hope it does not because I don't ever want that happening in rap beefs. Let's keep it to the lyrics and the songs. Um, but let's weigh in. We've had 2 rounds of rap records, kind of.
Who did the pussy record? Quavo, right? I didn't like that.
Well, the first record, I don't know if it counts because Chris Brown just mentioned his name in the Migos. So I don't know whose turn it is to respond. I guess Chris Brown, right?
Well, yeah, because
Like, how are we breaking this down? Is
the
it
first one
Chris
was
Brown's
Freak.
mention? Is that the first record we counting?
Yes.
Or are we counting Quavo's record first?
Chris Brown Freak is when is the first mention of between the two of them, it's the first mention.
Mhm.
He mentions the Migos by name.
Yes.
So I think that counts. I don't think the
Okay.
whole record is about Quavo, but a piece of it is, which is what sparked this whole thing.
Right. I'm gonna be honest. I don't count either one of those first records.
Okay.
I feel like they were both, fluff. One the real nooks and crannies.
Well, they're how we got here.
I know. And so I don't even know how to rank that one. That round. If that's a round, I'll call it even. I don't think either
Yeah,
one was super fire. I
I
don't
don't
think
have a.
either one did anything crazy. I will give props to Quavo because he responded to the mention with an entire record. So if somebody says they give round one to Quavo, I'm not mad at that, but I really don't even count those first 2 records.
I also, I mean, I don't really need to give my opinion. I do think it's kind of corny that Quavo responded. If I'm being honest,
Why?
you really tried to start a rap beef with a singing ass nigga.
I mean, we got real beef though. I think that has to be
So
taken into
what?
account here. If I have real life beef with somebody and they mention me on a record, I could totally see why I would respond.
I guess my question is more like, is it the momentum of the rap beefs that are happening around everyone that made this important? Because is this the first time someone has mentioned the Migos in a way that is not complimentary? And I know you're saying that there's something personal going on between Quavo and Chris Brown, but honestly, normally niggas, especially niggas who are not rap niggas, just go online and say whatever they gotta say. It doesn't. It's not usually a rap beef.
That's
So
true.
to me, it was just weird that Quavo responded. I feel like he was egged on by the people on the internet. I'm not saying he's wrong for doing so. Chris Brown said what he said. So if
Right.
Quavo felt he needed to respond, then that's his business. But what I'm saying is I just kind of feel like you're really trying to go toe to toe with this dude for what?
Because we don't like each other. And he
So
said my name.
I
Who
just
you think?
don't.
Go
Hmm?
ahead. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say I just don't. It feels very much like the momentum of the other beefs that are happening is really the reason for this. It feels
Okay.
to
I don't
me
agree, but I understand why you say that.
it feels to me like, oh, them other dudes are beefing and they putting it in the songs and it's getting a lot of buzz and whatever. Why not respond to Chris Brown? I know they don't like each other, but why now?
I think it was a situation where we have real life beef. We have been exchanging online for a while, and you, Chris Brown, were bold enough to say my name and my group's name. So now I'm gonna say something on record in response.
which is fine.
I think it's about ego. If we're being, I think it's an ego thing.
Of course.
I think it's a entertainment biz thing, and I think that's what it is. I think it's like, all right, listen, you were bold enough to do this. Well, then I'm gonna respond because I already don't like you.
Right.
So because I already don't like you, I got shit to say too.
I just don't know if I got to be curious. We can't go back in time. What's happened has happened. But I'm so curious. If there was no Drake and Rick Ross, if there was no Drake and Kendrick and
Everybody,
Cole and Drake and everybody else, would Quavo have even bothered?
I don't know.
I just the same way we talked last week about how people are kind of getting in on the action wherever they can. This feels like that. And I don't know. I just it's fine. I'm not particularly mad at it or anything like that. I indulged in it. I listened. But I just wonder if that's the real reason for this. It's like, oh, look, they're talking about them and all they had to do was fire some shots at each other on a song. I could do that. That's easy. That's
Gotcha.
some um quick buzz. That's some quick, you know? I don't know. I could be wrong, but it's awfully coincidental. It's kind of like when we talk about Rick Ross, like we said it too. Like, okay, this is cool that Rick Ross released a song and all of that, but where the hell did he come from? He wasn't really a part of this conversation, and he put himself in it the same way.
No, no, Drake mentioned him.
Okay, fine, but I'm just
Oh,
saying.
well, you talking about the video with playing the song,
I'm
right?
talking about all the big three stuff. That wasn't about Rick Ross.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Rick
He
Ross
put
didn't
himself.
have
Yeah, you
nothing to
mean with
do
the?
with
But I'm
that.
saying when you say he inserted himself, you mean that video of him playing the
Yeah, Rick
song.
Ross had a personal beef with somebody who appeared to be his friend at some point, and he took an opportunity because of what was going on between that person and the others. He took an opportunity to jump in, and I feel like this is what's happening with everybody. Everybody's like, "Oh, y'all doing that? All right. Well, look what I got."
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
This feels
I
very
think with
much
Rick
like
Ross,
that.
I agree that with Rick Ross, he was like, I'm inserting myself. With Quavo and Chris Brown, I don't know. But before we move on, let me ask who you think is winning this rap beef so far, Chris Brown or Quavo?
I didn't mean to make that
Yo, the
face.
look on your face said
No,
it
no, no, no,
all.
no, no, no. It wasn't about that. I got an alert that
Mhm.
said Uber was charging me 56 cents, and I was very confused. That's what it was.
Okay, because that was definitely the confused face.
Yeah, I was like, 56 cents. I mean,
I
I
said,
guess I
who
should
you
be
got
glad it's
winning,
not
Chris
more than
Brown or
that.
Quavo? That said,
Yeah, I was just confused about the Uber thing. But who do I have in the battle? I
so
gotta,
far, so
I,
far.
I gotta be honest. I really liked Chris Brown's verse. I also because the pussy song. I know I keep calling it the pussy song. The pussy song was Quavo, right? I didn't like that.
You
I,
talking about his first response?
yeah, I didn't like that.
Let me find it.
And I thought the new song was fine. He like you said, he had help. It wasn't just him on the track. Um,
He put Takeoff's real shit up there.
right. And
I thought that was interesting that he used Takeoff on the song.
not only that, that beat is a beat we know. I think that's a Nelly beat. I think that's the Air
I'm looking
Force
up.
One.
I'm looking up the name of the Chris Brown record.
Okay.
Well, the new one
Weakest
that just
link.
dropped is huh?
Weakest link is the new one.
No, Weakest Link is Chris Brown's diss record.
Oh, you just said Chris Brown.
I'm saying I'm looking up Quavo's diss records.
Okay. Tender is one of them.
Okay, well the other one that just dropped today is called Over Hoes and Bitches.
Over hoes and bitches. So tender is I believe Tender is the one that sounds like that's the Nelly beat. It sounds like give me two purrs. I need two purrs so I could get to something in my Air Force Ones.
Talk about it.
Big boy.
I can't. Oh, Tender. Yep, you're right.
Mm-hmm.
Tender was the first one.
Yeah.
Look at you knowing the names.
I mean,
Go Dash.
we got a pod to do.
You right. You right, girl. You right.
I would otherwise have no knowledge of what these songs were called.
Yeah, because this is crazy.
Because I
But
looked at it many times
so who you
and
got? Come on, man. I'll be honest. I think Chris Brown surprised me with the rap, and I got Chris Brown so far. But I have to also say, I did not expect Quavo to say all those names of women on this latest record. Oh, and Saweetie's mad.
oh yeah, she's posting screenshots and things.
She's posting screenshots of Quavo in her DMs as of recently as January or something like that.
Right, because what was the line? He said something like I
But
could
they both
find
said
me
stuff
another
about Saweetie.
sweetie or something like that. He said
Yeah,
he could
they
buy
both
him
have
another
mentioned her.
sweetie.
They both mentioned her. So she's like, all right, hold on. I got the proof right here.
Right, because Chris Brown is alleging, we haven't even spoken about the content. Chris Brown is alleging that he slept with Saweetie while she was still with Quavo.
Correct. I was trying to skip over some of that, but yes.
Right, but that's the root of this beef. So I don't think you do. I don't think you can skip over it.
And then Quavo has now said a lot of things about assault and violence against women in this latest record.
Yes, he has, and
I'm trying to even be careful of how I word it because I don't want
I
any
gotta.
beef with the YouTubes and Spotify's and all that, you know?
And I know they're gonna get me for this, but I gotta be honest, I didn't care for that. Low hanging fruit, and I don't think that.
And that's part of a rap battle.
Wait, I was just about to say, I don't think that it means that you don't hit below the belt and you don't say certain things. That's not what I'm saying.
Okay.
What I'm saying is, you made it a hook, and it was corny to me. Like, say it once and be done with it, and that's it. But to make it the hook, I just feel like it didn't move me any more than you know than maybe he thought it would.
Okay.
I just I like the
I
Chris
think with the
Brown
new
verse
record,
better. I like not Freak, but what was Chris Weakest Link? I like Weakest Link better than if we're just talking about the last two songs. I like Weakest Link better than the new song.
over hoes and
Quavo.
bitches.
Over Hoes and Bitches. I do. And
I'm of the same belief.
And maybe I'm biased, and I could understand why anybody who consistently watches this podcast or has watched the previous one thinks I'm biased, and maybe I am. But
Oh, I don't have a dog in this one.
I listen to not recently, not of late, but I'm very familiar with Chris Brown's music. I'm very familiar with. That's why I'm very familiar with Chris Brown rapping. Um, and so I think there's just always like an affection towards Chris Brown there. If I'm being honest, I don't want to lie and say that
Right.
I don't hear him and go, man, he's feeling it right now. I think I do that just innately because I'm so familiar with his music. But yeah, it didn't. And even the Pussy record, gosh, Tender is what it was called. Even Tender, I was like, how many times you gonna say Pussy? That was whack to me. It wasn't.
Gotcha.
It wasn't bad. My favorite part of the Quavo of it all is that he maintained his flow in a rap battle, and I think that is fucking amazing because
Yeah.
it's where do you hear that?
Right. No, he did his thing. He definitely did his thing. I don't have any beef with what he did. I
Yeah.
do think it's interesting that he used Offset.
Mhm.
I'll just leave that there.